I felt saddened by one thing, which is the fact that you had your budgeting year at the beginning of February, and I feel like, oh no, we missed that. But with you, I'm sure we can still have some reflection of the priorities of the new government in your work plan going forward. From this ministry, we're dealing with both the humanitarian response, we're leading the humanitarian response in Nigeria, and we're equally managing the poverty alleviation and social investment programs. So it's even gone beyond the typical social investment programs which we have to be more encompassing. So one of the projects which we are pushing forward as a ministry is actually the Zero Hunger Project.
Yes, great.
Yes, and it's one of the key things which I would like for your team to work with us on. So it's not just going to be about school feeding. School feeding is just going to be one. Homegrown school feeding would just be one aspect of the Zero Hunger Project. So we're going to be targeting different nutritious programs. So we're targeting both pregnant women, children under 5, school feeding, feeding of persons who are affected by humanitarian crisis, other persons of concern, including refugees that have found themselves within our space. Listening to you, I could almost feel like you stole the words from my head. Yes, it's been a while since I met someone who sounds like me. You actually do, in many ways. So part of the innovation which we're bringing on board is what we call humanitarian hub, one in each local government. Now, without bothering you with everything that would happen in that space, I'll just go to 3 things that are directly linked to you. Number 1 is the cash transfer point, which you have supported us to develop that policy framework. Thing that will happen in that humanitarian hub is actually what we refer to as the farmers market, but it's beyond that. So it's what you're describing at a large scale. You're dealing at the global scale. Now this is the micro scale. The final one is the I would want to call it food processing zone or processing zone. So part of the, in quotes now, vocational skills and job creation, which we're looking at the local level, is to see what they are able to process locally in terms of food that they can process. So I'll give you an example. In my place, they would love to process gari. They do a lot of cassava, and they can process the cassava to become gari. There are places where they do groundnuts and can process the groundnuts